performance during the 2015 elections and profile a roadmap for PDP to regain its glory.
We've been able to absorb that shock, and right now I can assure you that all those bickering will stop, or indeed has stopped. So we are now ready to rebuild our party and be able to present a credible opposition for this country that will ensure that we return back to power in 2019. We are ready to hold the new government accountable, make sure that the promise they've made, that we're going to benchmark each of them appropriately. It's not obvious that they have deceived Nigerians and got their votes. So,
away from party issues, President Goodluck Jonathan joined other eminent Nigerians and family of Professor Angaye and the Turners as Timini pray and judge exchange marital vows at the St. Matthew's Anglican Church, Maitama, Abuja. State House correspondent Segun Lawole has the details.
It is the joy of every parent to witness a day like this in the life of their children. So were the Angaye and Turner, as their children Timini Pray, Jennifer, and Alab George joined in holy matrimony at a service presided over by the Primate of all Nigeria, the Most Reverend Nicholas Oko. Timini Pray and Alab George, a special assistant to the President, gave their consent and made their vows to each other before God and the congregation, including President Jonathan, with the exchange of rings, a symbol of unending and perfect love.
In the name of God, I declare that they are husband and wife henceforth. In the name of God the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
As the couple received their marriage certificate, President Jonathan advised them to allow God totally in their marriage, bearing in mind the challenges that lie ahead.
Both of you will make mistakes along the line, because you must make up. I'm really advising young people that the sweetest things on earth, the most beautiful things on earth, have their own company, must pass through some stage. You love honey so much, and everybody talk about honey, honey, honey. For you to get the honey, there's a bee that can sting.
The Bishop of Abuja Diocese Anglican Communion Otuoke, Bayelsa State, Right Reverend James Oruwari, earlier in his sermon, had opened the couple's understanding of marriage as instituted by God and how to make a success of the matrimony.
Obey the word of God to restructure and rebuild up your home. Wonderful result you have. How is your marriage? It is the plan of God that the man would only be good when he's having a wife in his house.
In Abuja, Segun Lawole, NTA News.
Back to more political stories as the Northern Governors' Wives Forum say it is committed to mobilizing support for the success of the President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari. The chairman of the association, Doshima Soswan of Benue State, announced this at a meeting of the forum held in Abuja. Justin Bem Uyi reports.
Speaking at the valedictory session of the Northern Governors' Wives Forum, the chairman of the association, Mrs. Doshima Soswam, commended the women of the North for their participation in the elections and the Independent National Electoral Commission for ensuring the success and credibility of the polls. She urged Nigerians to support and pray for the success of the incoming government of General Muhammadu Buhari and gave assurance of the cooperation of the association, which she described as the voice of the northern women.
They can be the voice for the northern woman. They can be the voice for the northern youth. They can be the voice for the northern child, so that they have healthy life, productive life, empowered and prepared to contribute their quotas to growth of their country, economically and otherwise.
Mrs. Adama Ibrahim Dankwambo assured leadership of the Northern Governors' Wives Forum pending an election expected to take place when new members are inaugurated.
Justin Ben NTA News.
And as the date for the formal handing over to a new administration draws nearer, the President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari has been urged to fulfill his promises to Nigerians by proffering lasting solution to the insecurity situation, economic and corruption in the country. The appeal was made at the leadership colloquium under the chairmanship of a former Minister of Information and Culture, Prince Tony Momo. Correspondent Joseph Orok reports.
Whose main objective is the realization of the ideals of General Muhammadu Buhari. Chairman of Education, Prince Tony Momo, said he was optimistic that General Buhari will bring to bear his wealth of experience in the governance of the nation. National Chairman of One Voice Nigeria, One Nation, Jimba Yakubu, said Nigerians and the youth in particular expect a social security situation where people will be protected against poverty and disease, and an environment where people can practice the Nigerian brotherhood.
We believe in him because of integrity. He has zero tolerance for corruption, his hard-working nature, his belief in his country, and his belief in empowering younger ones.
One Voice Nigeria is an association of persons committed to the evolution of a credible leadership in Nigeria. Joseph Orok, NTA News.
Away from politics, newly recruited cadets into the fold of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have been charged to always imbibe the core values of the Commission and be good ambassadors. Executive Chairman of the EFCC, Ibrahim Lamode, gave the charge during the passing out ceremony of Detective Superintendents and Detective Inspector cadets. Correspondent Dennis Adegunloye reports.
Those were Abdul Rahman Mohammed Arabu and Esther Awoyemi being honored as the overall best superintendent cadre and the overall best inspector cadre respectively, among others who were honored for their exploits following an intensive 6-month training program for the cadets. Representing the cadets, Mustafa Shehu commended organizers of the course. Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Lamode, noted the importance of the courses and cautioned the cadets on integrity, courage, professionalism, leadership, and partnership.
What is important in life is courage, ability to discharge your duty courageously, tenaciously, and to the best of your ability according to the rule of the law. Once you do that, you can never get into trouble, and the sky is the limit for all of them.
The overall best in both categories highlighted their experiences and their expected future impact.
I will try as much as possible to rid Nigeria, to contribute my quota in ridding Nigeria of economic and financial crimes.
I'm ready to fight financial crime with all that I've been taught here.
85 cadets were recruited for the courses, and all of them, 41 senior cadets and 44 junior cadets, successfully completed the training and were the first graduates under the newly named EFCC Training Academy. In Abuja, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
And to mark the International Red Cross Day celebration, and in response to afflictions of women and children resulting from insurgency in some parts of the northeast geopolitical zone of the country, the Red Cross Society of Nigeria has put smiles on the faces of displaced persons at Dagwa Camp Area 1, Abuja. Correspondent Chidima Anson Agomo reports that the gesture is part of activities marking the 2015 International Red Cross Day celebration with the theme, The Fundamental Principles.
Donating the items, the chairman of Red Cross Society, FCT branch, Mr. Tonye Olaniyi, said the gesture is from the members, Nigerian Postal Services, and 7 schools in FCT, re-emphasizing that the Red Cross has remained at the forefront in providing assistance to millions of people across the globe. The Executive Secretary, FCT branch, Nigerian Red Cross Society, Mr. Simon Wobanis, urged the victims to be hopeful in their trying time.
We always look out for where we have the most vulnerable people.
The chairman of the camp, Habib Waziri, who could not hide his joy, commended the members for the gesture.
We really appreciate for Red Cross visiting us, giving us some items.
The international community of the Red Cross was founded in 1863 in Geneva, Switzerland by Henry Donat, and since then the organization have been playing the role of saving lives and aiding the defenseless. In Abuja, Chidima and Sinagombu, NTA News.
Still on care for the IDPs, the T.Y. Danjuma Foundation has directed beneficiaries of its grants to invest in the welfare of the internally displaced persons. The directive was given in Abuja at the training program organized for recipients of the grants. Uche Mwizo has details.
Daily, globally, persons are being displaced by either natural or man-made causes, and some individuals and organizations oftentimes graciously provide relief materials and funds for the affected persons. Sadly, however, these relief materials hardly get to the victims on schedule. To right the wrongs, the T.Y. Danjuma Foundation trains beneficiaries of its grants annually for effective management of the funds they receive, as well as monitoring and evaluation of their projects. This year's training included an interactive session with the media on how best they can assist in tackling the needs of the IDPs.
We clarify expectations, we give them support in terms of tools and techniques to be able to reach those results that we and them have anticipated and identified.
We are going to put the money to proper use by making sure that all the targets that we have set out will be achieved properly.
The media can do a lot, even we're talking about establishing contacts. If they can work with other agencies, be it NEMA, be it NGOs, let's have a good database of these persons and where they are from. The media can help to locate relatives.
The foundation has dedicated its 2015 grant cycle to the intervention of the IDP camps in the FCT, Edo and Taraba states, especially in the areas of health and education. Uche Mwizo, NTA News.
You're watching the news reaching you from NTA International, Abuja, Nigeria. Still to come, Equatorial Guinea expresses support for civil society's community in Nigeria. This and more when we return. The Nigerian Union of Journalists Credentials Committee has closed submission of nomination of forms for aspirants intending to contest for positions in its forthcoming elections. Correspondent Anthony Forson reports.
Chairman of the NUJ Credentials Committee, Benga Onoyiga, while receiving the nomination form of one of the presidential aspirants, Uzaka Sheifa, urged the aspirants to adhere strictly to the rules, saying NUJ cannot afford to run an election that will create credibility problems for the union.
We cannot afford to disappoint Nigerians and our colleagues across the globe. Nigeria, NUJ plays a very, very critical role in the Federation of African Journalists. Indeed, we occupy the #1 position there.
Uzaka Seifa said he will work for the interest of the members.
Responsible service, qualitative service, add value to this union so that our media men and journalists should be proud of that, yes, we have a union.
The NEJ Triennial Delegates Conference is scheduled for 24th through 26th of June in Abuja. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
With poverty eradication and job creation ranking top among the priorities of the incoming administration, agriculturists now canvass for the revival of collapsed agro-allied industries for socio-economic development. Musa Baba Aliyu has more.
Statistics show that the poverty rate among women, especially those in the rural areas, have remained high despite their engagement in agricultural activities and trading. This is attributed to lack of support and good pricing for their produce. Agriculturalists, however, are of the view that establishing more agro-allied industries as well as reviving of collapsed textile industries will address the identified challenges.
Those who are farming cassava do not process cassava. The other ones who are processors come to buy from the farmers and they process. Those who process are not the marketers.
These groups of women have come together to identify their challenges on food production and marketing.
So many of them, they know what to do, but they don't know the right side they can start. And they need somebody to coach them. They need somebody to be a strength, advisor to them. And when once you give them that need, you see them, they become an hero tomorrow.
The APC administration has pledged to make agriculture her priority and to create jobs and boost national food production. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Equatorial Guinea ambassador to Nigeria, Job Obiang Esono, says his country will continue to support civil society organizations in Nigeria. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports that the ambassador made this known when members of a non-governmental organization, Destination Africa Network for Peace and Sustainable Development, visited him in Abuja.
Chairman of the group, Rex Onyabo, says they will continue to encourage representatives of every country in Nigeria, as the nation also has our citizens in other countries of the world.
Our work people are almost we are fully committed to the total integration of all Africans. We are fully committed to the emancipation of all Africans. We are fully committed that Africa should unite and be one. We are following the wind, the instructions, the desire. We are here to represent our country and to work for a better relationship between the two countries.
Destination Africa is established to foster peaceful coexistence, integration, and cooperation in Africa, particularly in creating platforms to engage Africans positively. In Abuja, Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Next is a review of reports that made the headlines in the week. Musa Musa is our guide.
Welcome to this week in review. This week, 275 women and children rescued from insurgents in Sambisa forests were handed over to the National Emergency Management Agency for rehabilitation. The traumatized, sick, and hungry rescued women and children, on arrival, were quickly attended to with food and medicines to stabilize their health conditions. Those with serious problems referred to Federal Medical Center in Yola.
Sun fara harbi, sun fara warke wani tashi mu kudu mu tafi Sambisa. Na ce ba zan iya tashi ba, ciki na ciwo.
sai sun fara harbin sai ga sojoji sun fita sai sun gudu suka bar mu sai sojoji sun kakkashe su gaba da mu haka suka zo.
In a similar development, over 6,000 Nigerians evacuated from Niger Republic arrived at Dam for homeward journey to their respective states of origin.
And we are profiling them even also by families and states. So within the states, we have identified a family or a number of families that can fill a vehicle.
We have also activated the General Hospital. The doctors were there, and we want them to give us the list of drugs they need so that we'll buy and give them.
They are brought without knowledge of local government, but also, even so, we receive them accordingly from the border.
I buy almost fish of 800,000, and they burn the whole fish. The whole fish were burned. My children clothes are burned. My wife came out with only a shirt. We don't have even what to blanket even to even cover our body.
We all have job here. When we are powerless, we come out empty. How do we start? We need the help of the federal government in order to help our lives.
Very happy because I am sure if God reach, my father will get another money to bring me back to my school to fill my education.
The country's Executive Council congratulated and honors President Goodluck Jonathan as he clocked 5 years in office.
Mr. President, you have done the best you can for the country. You have done the best you can as a human being. You have done the best you can to keep Nigeria together. We will never forget this day, oh God. We thank you for making Nigeria live. The actions that this president has taken in solidifying and engraving almost on our DNAs the very principles of democracy.
Getting down to business, the Council approved draft national policy on renewable energy and energy efficiency in Nigeria. The policy objectives, among others, is to ensure security with greater benefits to remote parts of the country.
There have been skeletal policies formulated in the past by various MDAs that have not addressed this very issue, especially bringing electricity to the far areas, the remotest areas of our country that are far-flung from the national grid. The gas that is supposed to go to the turbines don't get to the turbines to generate electricity. So long as we continue to depend on gas, which is so vulnerable and susceptible to attacks on a regular basis, there are days I feel like just crying. You finish the repairs that took 2 weeks to repair, within 36 hours, they are busted again.
In another development, the ongoing Abuja Light Rail project has been inspected by President Goodluck Jonathan. The President, after the inspection, expressed satisfaction on the project's progress of work.
I'm quite impressed. I've been wanting to come and inspect this project for a very long time, but since I live in terms of my commitment, I think this period, I really need to. So when I'm having a conversation with the incoming president, I know exactly what to tell him. Because I've seen it myself, I've seen the level of completion, and of course, the usefulness of this project to us in terms of easing the movement of the people in the federal agriculture. So I have to congratulate Nigerians for this project.
Umar Musa Aerodrome Expressway leading to the airport and elsewhere from Abuja, and Abuja Zuba Expressway nearing completion were also inspected by the President. Also during the week, the Nigeria's President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari played host to important dignitaries and delegations. Among them, President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari hosted APC governors and governors-elect in the country. The meeting, the governor says, is to share views on the problems of salary payment by some states and the need to fast-track socio-economic development in the nation.
And we have come to notify the incoming president and commander-in-chief of the challenges ahead of him.
As it stands today, most states of the Federation have not been able to pay salaries. He assured us that Nigeria is his constituency, and that was very reassuring.
I was lucky Nigerians believed in me, and they put their strength together. I assure you that the government, the APC, with the eventually put in place, will be a competent Nigerian government. We will never betray the people, because the people, they risk everything. Some lost their lives in this cause. I assure you, God willing, if we survive the next 4 years, Nigerians will be in a position to confidently raise their heads up. Then they remain their own representatives and their leaders.
We came, felicitated with him. We'll go to the tribunal, give our facts, our evidence, which we have more than enough to show that we won the election.
And I told him that he is coming in as president on a wave of very high expectations throughout the country. And I also told him that I believe that the high expectations are based first on the promises he made during the campaigns to the people, but more importantly on the general perception of his character. He is perceived as a man with a very strong sense of discipline.
Nigerians have been assured of continuous supply of petroleum products to outlets across the country to ease the current scarcity. This came after a meeting between the finance minister and oil marketers to resolve all outstanding issues and preferring lasting solutions to the problem.
There is no one definitive figure. Even as we speak today, by the time we leave, the Executive Secretary of PPPRA may have cleared some more SDNs.
This is a process that continues. At some point, there will be an agreement to say, for today, we pay you X. When you get X, you may even eat into the 200. And then there's more job done. And then it continues like that.
House of Representatives has commenced investigation on alleged 21 billion naira fraud by rice importers. Findings reveal that some foreign investors extended the quota for imports and other companies yet to pay outstanding import duties and fines for flouting government directives.
Shall attract 10% duty rate with a levy of 20% and will be limited to the national supply gap to be determined by a committee for a period of 4 years. By the time the policy statement was issued in July 2014, without any specific quota, and the new inter-ministerial committee that is supposed to give us the quota never sat on time. Up to the end of 2012, about 2.1 million metric tons was being imported annually. That was before the introduction of the fiscal policy measure, which took effect from 1st January 2013.
Weekend Review concludes the news. Thanks for watching. I'm Taiwo Odubeso.